and this is the story, this is the nitty-gritty funny things that happen. At the start, it was something that was born in Crotonville, so upstate New York, and it was very much shared only with the top leaders. So when we'll have, you know, a top management conference or leaders, Crotonville was very much for the top leaders in the organization going through the training programs. So people will talk, you know, like in the corridors or something, you know, something, this is change acceleration process, CAP, what is that? And somebody mentioned that during the program, and what is that, what is that? And somebody told, somebody that was asking one of the leaders in GE, and the other guy said, well, I can explain it to you, but afterwards I will have to kill you. Okay, so that was the joke is, it was something very secret that was not really spread all over the organization. So that's how CAP was born. What we did was train coaches all over the place, start actually running big CAP sessions where we would invite business teams from different businesses with a specific project, and they will learn the tools and the process and apply that to their projects. So that's the point when the change acceleration process was born and required. Then we kept on going with the key business initiatives that you can see there. The last one before innovation was the Six Sigma quality, but we also went through another one that is important in the use of CAP, and is the GE Customer Toolkit. Basically, it's about customer productivity. At this stage, we realized in GE that instead of we didn't want to decrease price, tout simplement. So we might be more expensive than competition in the markets that we were, like light bulbs or whatever. Light bulbs from GE would be more expensive, or plastic pellets will be more expensive than the competitors in the plastic market. Instead of decreasing the price, we said, why not using all the expertise and know-how that we have in the company in how we manage our processes, how do we get productivity out of what we're doing, why not sharing all that know-how, including workout, and how we manage change with our customers? And the return will be for them to win their productivity. So we had actual contracts on this customer productivity initiative with the customer saying, you know, this is the level of productivity that you want to acquire. We help you get there. We're not going to decrease the price, but we're going to help you get there. So we invest internal resources, and that's how us as people from Crotonville will go to the customers and train them on all this stuff. Okay?
And that becomes part of the solution.
Voila. And that becomes part of the solution.
I think GE was good at like introducing that approach and really saying, you know, selling their in-house expertise, particularly for our kind of profession. How can we share that with the customer for their productivity and therefore, you know, sell the solution? Also, we were getting all the way here, and people were all of a sudden Six Sigma, and you know, all the and then until somebody said, hey, by the way, we have this CAP process. Maybe we can put the two together so that, you know, if we want to have this accepted within the organization much more quickly and accelerated, we better start, you know, using our own tool. It was forgotten in the beginning because all of a sudden you had a bunch of black belts and master black belts and green black belts, you know, all the colors running around, and you know, within GE we forgot our own medicine, so to speak. So it's a constant reminder of putting it all together.
Yeah. If you look at this chart, this was the first step. And between this and this, there are nearly 10 years. Okay? And in the middle, what you did was getting process management in the company. So we were through total quality management initiatives like Kaizen of the Wall and Zero Defects that they had in GE Plastics. Each business will have their way to manage total quality. We were not very structured on that in GE until we had Six Sigma. Yeah, so the story was different. Six Sigma came, and it was in a structured way to actually look at quality all over the company. We didn't have a common approach to total quality in GE until we got Six Sigma. So that's the difference, okay? What do you think makes a change successful? What are some of the factors or the elements that make a change successful compared to changes that are not successful? The only one out of this list that is not connected to people, or could not be connected with people, because that includes also people, is the one that talks about resources. And I will also talk about the cycle time, the fast piece of it. But all the rest are about people. Yeah? So keep that in mind, because we're going to get into a formula for successful change a little bit later. The model is there, and it's exactly including the elements that you put in your brainstorm. So CAP came out. That's the beauty of this model, is that it's simple. It comes and is built out of common sense. It includes all the elements that will come out in any session where you do a brainstorming with people and you ask about successful change from their own experiences. And this is what you have there. The first thing that you need is to identify somebody that is going to lead the change initiative. That's the who. The answer to the question who is here. And you need somebody that has accountability for whatever project or change initiative you're running. Somebody that is accountable, and somebody that has power over the resources, technical, people, or money. Sometimes you can have the same person having those two roles, so the same person is accountable and has the power over the resources. But the normal thing in the normal business life is that accountable people don't have the power over the resources. You have to get a sponsor or somebody that is up high that can help remove the roadblockers. Creating a shared need. This is answering the question why we need to do this, and this is the burning platform that you talk about. There is no choice. The need, the desire for it, and the need for change, and the big, strong emphasis here was about the word shared. So shared by whom? Shared by everybody that is going to be affected by the change. And the need for a change can be driven by threats or by opportunities. So either there are things that you gain by changing, or there are things that you're going to avoid by changing. Voila. And the whole set of tools that help on doing this is about identifying what are the threats and the opportunities, yeah? And being able to share it with everybody. Shaping a vision is the question where are we going? So the end point or destination after, so for example, is are we changing this table? Are we changing this chair? Are we changing this room? Are we changing this hotel? So it's defining not only the what we're changing, but where are we going? At the end, where are we going to be? Yeah? And the key difference between the change approach in GE and other change approaches that we've seen in other companies is that this element is about behaviors. So when you talk about how do you manage to change the culture and people people change their behaviors from what they are used to do, in shaping a vision, what we will do with the teams, is identify what do you want the people to do different as a result of this change initiative. So what are the changes in behaviors that people have to go through? Okay? So what do you need people to do more of and less of?
For example, if you want to be regarded as a Six Sigma company, what would be the receptionist when you come in GE Lighting? What would they be doing differently than what they would be doing before? So really getting to that level.
Floor, everybody. So the exercise was hard because when you ask people to identify behaviors, and that happens to all of us, we start talking about empowerment, responsibility, accountability, and those are fluffy words that are not measurable. So we had to go a level beyond that and tell them, we need to videotape that. So it's a strong effort done in identifying the actual behaviors, what people have to do differently. Then the question is with whom you're going to change, and that's what you have there. So everything about resilience, about the support of the key stakeholders. So mobilizing commitment is about identifying who are key stakeholders, people or groups who will have an influence on the success or failure of your change initiative. Identify where they stand regarding their support or resistance toward the initiative, and then identify an influence strategy to move them from where they are today and where you need them to be successful in what you want to do. So it was about identifying the sources of resistance, who are the key stakeholders, and then how do we move them along in the chart, yeah? How to mobilize the commitment. And then the three last elements that you have here is about the how we do it. So these are these are the elements that will help you launch a change initiative. If you stay there and you don't do the other three, the change will be implemented but won't stay over time. Yeah? So it will be the launching star effort, everybody's mobilized around this, but then there's no measures, there's no integration with ongoing initiatives, and then the initiative gets dead. So making change last was about integrating that change with whatever was ongoing in the company, communicating, celebrating early successes, rewarding people, many best practices that we have on those. This is about identifying indicators of success that will help you identify the signs, know that you're going where you said you were going. And changing systems and structures was about identifying those processes that help change people's behaviors. And those are mainly HR processes, but not only. So the systems and structures that you will have to change accordingly to what you said you needed in terms of behaviors were hiring. So what profile of people are you looking for? Training and development. So either you hire, so you buy, or you develop the competencies inside the company. So training and development, communication, these rewards, measures and rewards, how to integrate those and make them consistent. If you say that this is the behavior that we're looking for, we should reward that behavior, and we should punish or send a very strong message about the behavior that we don't want anymore. Yeah. Then you have also information systems. That would be another system that will have to be changed accordingly. And
even up to organizational design. Like one of the examples that I like to highlight when I talk about this from a GE perspective is, for example, boundaryless. You've probably heard about that a lot in GE. It's like getting rid of the boundaries between different functions, hierarchies with customers everywhere. So to make that very visible, some businesses made that very visible also in the organizational design. I was, for example, one time in a meeting in GE Medical Systems in Paris, and we had a meeting with a European Corporate Executive Council where Welsh came twice a year also to Europe for that. And the meeting, or the new meeting room, was designed and put right in the middle of the factory. So we were sitting there, and the strong message that it gave was all glass around, and the factory was working around. So the structure of we want to be a boundaryless company, let alone of the noise that it made to actually focus on the meeting, but the signal was there.
So this is the model in itself. The model, and so you need to have somebody that leads the change. You need to have the need for it. You need to know where you're going in terms of behaviors. You need to identify who you need to get on your trip and need to have on your side to be successful, and then to manage, measure, and change systems and structures so that consistently you affect behaviors. That's it. It's as simple as that. And the whole point was, this is like a pilot checklist. It's a structured way to look at change, like many other models that we have and we all know. The beauty of it is that it was, and it is very simple, straightforward. It includes all the elements, and it works.
So if you see it differently, and also if you sum that model up, it's really around this formula that many of you may know or not. A lot of companies, and particularly technical companies, or also companies with an engineering background, focus a lot on the Q, which stands for the quality of the solution, the technical solution. Like the Six Sigma, the productivity improvements. Very practically, it can be a new computer program that's launched. So if we do this in a course also, we say, out of a scale of 0 to 10, how much do companies literally or normally spend time and effort on doing that? And you would get answers usually above 5. If they want to change something, the quality or the technical aspect of what you want to deliver is usually fairly high in a company. One reason for that is also that people are hired still very much because of what they know, not for what they share or network, or we know all that, right? So typically you get 7,